Okay, so I was really looking forward to this one. There is a gap in the market with these type of adventure movies, and there's a reason for that. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of straight to DVD or the bottom of the bargain cheap versions of these movies, because doing them well costs a lot of money, especially if you're going to go to the route of building physical sets and filming on location rather than in a big warehouse for the majority of the film. This film tries to do its best to do that, but does it deliver? Let's dive in and find out. Fountain of Youth follows two estranged siblings played by John Krasinski and Academy Award winner Natalie Portman, who partner on a global heist to find the mythological Fountain of Youth. They must use their knowledge of history to follow clues on an epic adventure that will change their lives and possibly lead to immortality. Okay, so this film, first off, is a little bit like The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, and a little bit of National Treasure with Nicolas Cage, and yes, even a little bit of Indiana Jones, obviously, with Harrison Ford. If you took all three of those franchises and chucked them into a pot of Guy Ritchie's stew, that is the Fountain of Youth. Today's review format is as follows: the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good. The sets are astounding. There is a recreation of a derelict ship for one of the sets that they create within this movie, and an action scene that happens to take place on it. They could have easily used green screen and CG for this scene, and in fact it would have been a lot easier if they did, and probably cheaper in the long run. But there is no accounting for tangible sets for actors to play in. Talking of which, Isa Gonzalez plays Esme. You may recognize her and go, where do I know her from? If you go and look up on IMDb, you'll see that she's been in a number of things that you will go, oh yes, she was in Baby Driver and Netflix's Three Body Problem. Anyway, here she plays someone who's tasked to stop anyone from trying to find the Fountain of Youth because of a MacGuffin reason that you can input the Mummy storylines here moment. Her character could have been so generic and forgettable because of the chemistry that her character has with John Krasinski's. Every time they're on screen together, it's a joy to watch. It doesn't hurt that she's very believable in the hand-to-hand combat scenes as well. This is where Guy Ritchie's flair comes into play. There's a playfulness in the action scenes, particularly in the hand-to-hand combat scenes, that's very indie and The Mummy at the same time. The score in these scenes is also playful. It reminds the audience that although what you see on screen is tense, it's meant to be an adventure, and you should be having fun while watching it, which these scenes do really well. Every time there's a physical set and an action scene, the film excels at what it's doing. From John Krasinski's Han Solo-like shenanigans to the I don't like you, but I do like you scenes while fighting. This is when the movie is fantastic. There's also a young actor to watch out for, Benjamin Chivers, who plays Thomas. He has such an understated presence on screen in this movie. He doesn't get a lot of screen time in the movie, but what he does get, he excels in. He has already been in Doctor Who and The Devil's Hour with Peter Capaldi, but I can't wait to see what else he gets up to in the future. He wasn't an irritating young actor in an adventure movie. Instead, his presence really added to the depth and dry comedy when it was needed. He just so happened to be in an adventure movie, and I was really impressed with his performance. So the good, to wrap it all up, is this. The score is fantastic and heightens the adventures within. The physical sets are big, bold, and adventurous, and shooting in many locations around the world really adds weight to the adventure we were meant to be having. Krasinski and Isa are a magical duo directed brilliantly by Guy Ritchie. Okay, so the bad then. Natalie Portman is a phenomenal actress. I loved her in the MCU, Star Wars, and Black Swan, to name just a few of her roles. However, her character feels flat in this. She's meant to have this antagonistic relationship with her brother on screen, Krasinski, and it is that because of a story element, and we do get a little bit of that antagonistic relationship. We also get character growth from both of them in their relationship. But the film spends too long on will she or won't she join the gang on the adventure, and it ends up being a bit stale. Her character seems like a little bit of padding as well. There's no real reason for her character to be there. She adds a little to the group, but at no time do you believe that she really needs to be there. Her character is very forgettable, which is a shame because if given the proper dialogue and playground to play in, she can be a fantastic, phenomenal driver of a movie. Take, for example, Annihilation. This is a prime example of her eating up the screen with very little dialogue. Even now, having just watched the film, I wonder if this character was even needed to be in the film at all. The story leans heavily on the family dynamic, but I just didn't care about her character or believe the brother and sister dynamic. I'd say her son, or her son on screen, played more of a pivotal part with less screen time. This isn't Portsman's fault, it's the way the story is written for her that is the problem. Talking about characters that serve little purpose, there is a team as well. One is the driver, the other is the explosive expert, and I couldn't tell you more about them than that, except that they are there. Okay, so then the ugly. The pacing of this film is not great either. It feels like a bunch of action scenes stitched together with scenes of characters standing round a table to dump exposition, and then catch the audience up in that dumping of exposition. Now, don't get me wrong, exposition is a word that a lot of reviewers and film critics like to use to justify their reasoning for not enjoying the film. There was exposition, therefore it's bad. That's not necessarily the case. Exposition dumps are often needed and can enhance the story if done well. But think back to National Treasure or Indiana Jones, even The Mummy. There are huge dumps of exposition in those franchises, but they are delivered for the most part mostly with movements in the scenes. What I mean by this is Dr. Jones will explain something while looking at a map in a cave or in a boat or during an action sequence or in an action scene. Why is it snakes? I hate snakes. The Fountain of Youth does this in places, but it also leans heavily on the formula of working out a piece of the puzzle, standing around, and then getting to that piece of the puzzle with an action sequence. Rinse and repeat. This isn't even a bad thing if the downtime between the characters carries the exposition in a fun and exciting way. But like I said, we don't get to know the team. Natalie Portman's character's dynamic with her brother doesn't come across as believable. And so what we are left with is a massive drop in dopamine when we're having those roller coaster ride adventure sequences to the drop of going, well, okay, I guess I needed to know some of that. But is it good, and should you watch it? Yes, even with all of my moaning, the film does what it's supposed to do. It's an adventure, a 2-hour escape globe-trotting adventure. Is it perfect? No, but it doesn't need to be. Will I watch it again? Yes, I probably will watch it tonight with my family. It's a perfect movie to watch with family while you're eating dinner or lunch or whatever food you'll be eating something. Would I have paid to go watch this in the cinema? Maybe, at a cheaper viewing. So taking off my critical brain cap or something, I love these type of films. Adventure, treasure, and escapism. What's not to like? So with that in mind, I give Fountain of Youth 3.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
I guess I was pretty horny.
What's your favorite globe-trotting, treasure-seeking adventure film? I also enjoy Romancing the Stone. I don't think enough people give time to that film. If you've enjoyed this review and found it somewhat informative and fun, do give me a like, it does help. Also, maybe search up the smallest YouTube channels you can find that are film reviewers like me and give them some love, because once you start out, it's really hard to get out. Maybe spread a little love and joy if you can. It's really hard to, break out of this is a hobby to this is a career moment. I'm still trying to do that, but let's spread the love and joy. Until next time, beautiful people of the internet, stay safe and remember, live long and Tuesday.